Welcome to Posca Wednesdays in Bella and I studio, where I show up every week and work in this sketchbook and build a world in it, one page at a time. You name the life inside it, and I ink it into existence. Let's begin. Last week, we introduced a dolphin to our world, to our underwater world, sea world. This week, I want to introduce a predator, so we're gonna introduce a shark. I have a reference photo here. And what I'm thinking is I want to put him over here on this side, opposite of our dolphin here. So we'll get his body in there. I'm seeing his snout coming down about like this. We got the tail section. And up here, we'll raise the tail. I try to go really light on this because I don't want it to. I don't want the Posca pen to fight the graphite. I'll actually come in and with the kneaded eraser and remove some of the graphite before I go into it with the Posca pens. Alright, we'll get the dorsal fin here. I think that's what it's called. It's a dorsal fin. Let us know if you know what this fin's called. Sketches doesn't have to be pretty. It just has to make sense. So what I'm doing here is I'm drawing shapes of what I see to establish the anatomy of the shark first. Just to get some shapes in there. Just to get some shapes. Again, I like to turn the page, depending on the angle I'm getting ready to draw in. It helps me. My wrist has a memory of its own. Okay. Here I'm seeing a little bit more here of what's coming there like that. Yeah, that's fine. Look at these. They look like little tags. Little fins. We'll get his gills in here. It doesn't have to be perfect. We're not trying to win any contests here. We are just establishing his body shape. Let's see. Let's go with, let me get his little mouth in here. Like that. He's got a little nose there. And we'll get the gills in here. This just helps me keep the gills level here across the side of his body. Just a quick sketch, just a quick study. Okay, we'll come in with a kneaded eraser and get rid of some of these lines. How's your guys' week? You guys have a good weekend? Do anything exciting over the weekend? Me and Bella didn't do much. It was sort of gloomy here. February can be like that in this area. You get a lot of rain sometimes, which we need. We're heading for a drought here if we don't get some snow and some more rain. I don't think we're gonna get the snow, so we're getting past that window there. So, but who knows? You know, it is still March, so a lot of things could happen in March. Okay, now that I got that pretty light, what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna come in with the black and do an outline of our shark, just to establish him here in the world. You guys got a name for this shark? Let us know down in the comments. And what I'll do is, once we're done building this world, this page, we'll use a random generator and run the names through the random generator and apply credit to the winner. You know, whoever comes up with the names in the comment sections and they get picked in the random generator, we will give credit to that person, to that username. So feel free to load the comment section with names, whatever you want the name to be. I'm excited to see what names you guys come up with. So, and if we don't get any names, then I'll name them. Whoops. Yeah, I'm just doing some line art. Just filling in the missing pieces here. Okay. This shark is big and bad. He looks mean. Yeah, this is the small bullet nib pen, Posca pen. It's quite a bit smaller than the brush nibs, so it's a little easier to get some finer lines. You could still do some pretty good lines with the brush nib. It's just they're bigger, so the lines tend to be a little more chubbier, a little fatter lines. I'm just seeing a little chunk missing out of his fin there. I thought I'd put that in there. Maybe we even put a chunk missing here out of this fin. That looks like our basic shark there. So we'll come into the eye just a little bit, just to get the eye a little black. And we'll leave a little bit there. Yeah, I guess I didn't really leave a highlight. That's all right. Looks like he might be a little bit farther back here from our dolphin. I'm seeing some rock formations coming up here maybe separating our shark from the dolphin's line of sight. The dolphin will know he's there. Dolphins are pretty smart, so they know. Maybe down here we'll have some other critters hiding in coves, maybe some small schools of fish swim around, maybe some coral reef or whatever. Just some rocks and maybe some starfish, just to pull all this together. But we'll not get ahead of ourselves too much. This shark looks a lot the same color as even what we did over here with the dolphin, so looks like a pretty similar color. So we'll start off with a gray again. What's the weather like in your guys' area? You guys still dealing with some winter stuff or winter storms? Some places here back east in the United States, they're still dealing with winter, so they actually had some winter where we didn't. And we didn't have much of a winter at all here. So yeah, I'm seeing this world coming together in my mind as I move through some of these critters, underwater critters. And it makes me think, because I've always fantasized, even when I was young, especially more so when I was young, but I always fantasized what it'd be like to be a fish. I mean, whenever I'd go swimming and have the binoculars on, or the goggles, not binoculars, right? Goggles. I would act like I was a shark or, some type of fish. I guess if I was a fish, what fish would I be if I wanted to be a fish? I think I'd want to be, I probably wouldn't mind being a dolphin. I like dolphins. Dolphins are smart. Yeah. I did do a little research on trying to figure out what makes a dolphin not a fish. Apparently it's not a fish, it's a mammal. They breathe, they have lungs, they give birth, and they nurse their young. That's so cool. That sounds a lot like a human being to me. Not saying that we're, alike, it's just dolphins are apparently one of the smarter critters in the ocean. At least that's what scientists believe. I don't know if they know that for sure. That's what they say. I'm sure there's a lot of smart critters in the ocean, huh? What do you guys think? What would you guys want to be? What, if you could be a fish in the ocean? I guess it doesn't just have to be the ocean. That could be freshwater fish. We'll probably get some of those in here. For sure. There's some fish that live in the ocean that actually come to the freshwater, our rivers and stuff, swim up the rivers to spawn. Whether it's salmon or there's some sturgeon that do that. Yeah. I like the idea of being able to just go over the black line a little bit to make it disappear a little bit. Kind of give the critter a little more credibility. And of course, as we go along here and we're coloring them in, we're gonna have to go over it a second time here. So I'm gonna leave his belly white, like we did with our dolphin there. I might even come back underneath the jaw a little bit and make underneath the jaw a little white. And that's what I noticed with our dolphin last week. I got to looking at my reference photo, and actually the white came all the way up underneath the jaw, so I might have over colored him a little bit there with the gray. We'll address that. We can do that from week to week, right? Make changes as we go, little things. So now what I'll do is I'll come back into this black. It's all about timing a little bit. You want some of this to dry. It does dry pretty fast, so there isn't a lot of wait time. But I want to come back in and get some of this black in there again. Just in a couple places. And we can go back over with gray if we need to, if we overdo it on the black. But yeah, I think that looks pretty good. I want to get these gills in here again. So just to get a hint of it, because I'm going to go back over it with gray again. And make those lines disappear a little bit more. But instead of using the big gray, I'm going to come in with this little pen. But before we do that, I want to take this white. We're going to come in over here. And we're just going to say hello to our dolphin buddy. A little bit of this white. Yeah. So this stuff's pretty opaque. You can go right over stuff with it. I'm gonna go over that black just a little bit there. That stuff feels pretty wet. That might just be good. So we'll leave that to dry. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back in with this gray. And we are going to reestablish these gills a little bit. Oops. Let them disappear a little bit. Oh, if I need to, we'll come back over it again. I might need to on a little bit of it. That's all right. Okay, we'll come back over it with some more gray again. Give it that second coat so it doesn't look streaky. I just started using this medium at the beginning of this sketchbook. So the sketchbook was the first time that I've really used this medium. I am enjoying it. I think it's a lot of fun. It's probably been a couple months now. I used the Posca pens in my other series for Project Monday, Bella versus the Aliens, where the aliens are my thoughts that as a child hindered me from doing certain things in art because I told myself it was cheating or those kinds of things. So That's a fun series. It's a bit more challenging because for a couple of reasons. One, the panels are really small, so you don't have as much real estate as like what you got on here with these, with the sketchbook with these pages. Hmm. Let's see how this sort of dries. Okay. It looks like you might have a little bit of blue to him. We're gonna let it. We're gonna let it breathe there for a second. I want to try to check out some of this water up here and see what we can come up with here. So we'll sketch in little stuff just to get an idea. Where we need to go with it. Because I'm seeing what looks like the like the top of the water there. It's really light. So I think what I'm going to do first is come on with this lighter blue. And I'm just going to be real random with it. I'm not going to have any certain pattern with it. It's just going to be very random. I was going to try to sketch it with a pencil, but it just, yeah, I think it'd just be easier just doing it this way. We gotta have it go into the abyss, right? That's just going to be the top of it. It's not going to be the full story there. So as we go down, it's going to be more and more color. And it's going to be more pronounced. So I want to be careful. I don't want to go down too far. We'll come down and meet the dolphin. The dolphin and the shark. And we'll get over there too. See how much time we got. There's always next week and the week after. There's always next week. Sometimes I wait until I get all the critters in there before I actually draw any scenery. Sometimes I don't. It just all depends. All depends on what I want to do. So, okay. And then what we'll do is we're going to be really random with this. Leaving some of that white there, because that reminds me of the seafoam that you would see at the top of the water, at the surface. You won't necessarily trace it all. It'll just be random. This is always the relaxing part for me to do this. Just random shapes. It doesn't have to be anything specific. It'll come together. We'll make the most of it. And we'll leave some of that white in there to look like seafoam. I think that's what it's called. If any of you guys know what that stuff's called, let us know. Seafoam. That's what I'm calling it. That's what I think it is. Right. All right. As we get deeper into the ocean, it gets darker as we get farther away from the surface. So we'll come down here. I'm going to go over this blue. It's pretty dry, so we shouldn't have any issues. If you go over it on this paper when it's a little wet, it likes to chew up the paper. So I think that's just a characteristic of the Posca pens. And then we're gonna go a little lighter pressure as we move more towards the top into our seafoam. And as we move in through this whole thing, this'll all start coming together, I suspect. I did know that I was going to use quite a bit of blue here, so I went ahead and ordered some more blue pens. Just because I know it's going to take a little bit of blue. We only have so many colors, so we have to make do with what we got. So we'll get the ocean here established over here above our dolphin, and then we'll call it a day. We'll call it a day. And we'll come back next week and revisit this, yeah? We'll start right where we left off. We'll introduce another creature, and we have time. We'll work a little more into the water above the shark. And yeah, that kind of thing. Not quite sure what we're going to do for critter next week, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. I'll think about it over the course of the week, and we'll know next week where we're at with that. So I'm comfortable with that. I like how it's turning out. So until next week, guys, from Bella and I, hope you have a good rest of your week and a great weekend, and I'll see you guys next week. Peace.